How large are the studies?
Yeah, okay, so the Sense to Stop study is, it will be 75 people. The second heart steps will be, these are relatively expensive because they're clinical populations. But the second heart steps will be around 50. Now this said, we're now working with a company that was founded by an academic, a behavioral scientist, and they're very interested in rolling it out and having this type of randomization. And then we should be able to get thousands of people. We've already designed the study. It just hasn't gone into the field yet. So we are working to, with that company and one other company. But there, on the company side, it's very clear they're not as interested in the behavioral science. It's very clear. It's quite interesting. Whereas in these settings, these health-related settings, it's the whole collaborative team. Everyone has to get something out of this collaboration.
Can you say a bit about stationarity? You jumped over it. I mean, it must be a real issue that people's behavior change over time. Right,
it's a big problem. So in the first heart step studies already, you're seeing that the effect of the intervention, actually we were very fortunate. We had a strong effect, but it dissipated over the study. And there's two reasons, theoretical reasons why that might happen. One is habituation. This is known in the behavioral sciences that if you signal someone too much, they don't even see it. Or burden. That's the other reason. And so how do you disentangle those two? The habituation and burden, in a sense, the non-stationarity is due to the fact that we really are not getting the entire state in some sense, right? If we could really sense well your level of habituation, I don't know how to do that, but if we could sense that well, maybe we wouldn't see some effect that changes with time. But in the second heart step study, we're allowing for this. So we're having vacation periods where the bandit won't run and you won't be pinged with activity messages, interspersed with active periods. This is all to reduce habituation. Yeah.
So I suppose the outcome is the like indicator active or not, or you have more quantitative?
In the activity studies, it's the actual step count or heart rate. So we're going to have to register this on clinicaltrials.gov, so we're going to have to choose one or the other. There's very rigid rules.
Does it make sense to think about like a control baseline? I couldn't quite make up my mind how to do that.
Oh no, you're totally right. I didn't get to do this because I got behind, but in the analyses that are done after the study is over, you actually at each decision point, you control for the pre-treatment measure of the outcome. But you have to be very careful about doing this or you'll mess up the causal inference. And I just, kind of waved my hands on that. But reinforcement learning is all about causal inference. And in the RL field, we really need to bring causal inference straight into RL, at least if we're going to work with human subjects. Yeah.
How did the participants perceive the pushes? Do they like it? Do they find it annoying? And does that correlate with the step count?
Yeah, so that's interesting. So of course, as you can well imagine, there was a whole variety of focus groups that were done. These are clinical trials, so you do a lot of focus groups. And what happened was that activity suggestions were tailored on sensor data. Sometimes the sensors screwed up. Like they said that you were at home when you were at work, or the weather was, that type of thing. And participants loved the activity suggestions, but when they screwed up, it really bothered them. So the more you're able to tailor, the more it appeared that it would bother them when the sensors messed up. And so in the second study, we're trying to figure out a way, how can we manage the expectations of the participants so they don't get so upset when the software is not, the sensors are just off for whatever reason. We have to get them, so we have like a coach, and the coach, they'll know that every now and then the coach might not be quite right. So we have to, the way in which we provide suggestions has to be couched appropriately. The suggestions, we had an enormous number of suggestions that one could provide. over like 500, no one could get, you know, a suggestion twice during this study. But even then, the variety of suggestions, they felt there needed to be greater variety. So they complained about that. They didn't complain about too many pushes, surprisingly enough, but it was only 42 days. Yeah.
Okay, thanks very much. Let's thank Susan again.